Hi everyone, I'm Joe. Today it's time for me to do the 1001 Books tag. This tag was originally created by Miss Reader. I was tagged to do this by my friend Raya, whose channel is The Book Finch. I will link both of their channels in the description box below, of course, and I would of course recommend you go and check out both of their channels. The idea of this tag is very simple. It is essentially the numbers and your books, both of which I am quite happy to talk about. You'll get the idea from the first question. And there are quite a few questions, somewhat long, so I have to look down and read them out from my notepad. So the first is 1001 lists. Do you follow any book lists? It can be a prize list or a challenge like the Rory Gilmore challenge. And for this, the only one that I follow, if you have watched my channel for any length of time, you will know, is the Hugo Award. This is pretty much one of the biggest and oldest awards within science fiction and fantasy. Obviously that's my main two genres. The main reason that I've been following these is not necessarily for the awards themselves directly, it's because the Hugo Awards are held at a Worldcon, which is a big science fiction convention and fantasy that moves around and is hosted by fans basically at different places each year. And indeed I have been to two of these. In 2018 I went to America, 2019 I went to Dublin, Ireland, and indeed by the time that you are watching this video, hopefully I should have just been to another Worldcon again in America. So this award has let me travel and meet some lovely booktubers, whom is the entire reason why I'm travelling. So it's working out rather well, frankly. Second question is 1001 books. Approximately how many physical books do you currently own? How many ebooks? For this I actually know the exact number. I own 945 physical books. I know this because I track all the books that I buy on a website called LibraryThing. As far as my physical books is concerned, I have 180. Weirdly, you'd think that I'd be more precise about the ebooks rather than physical books, but with ebooks, some of them I've removed on from my Kindle, but I know they're still attached to my Amazon Kindle account. And some of them obviously are ones I've downloaded for free off other websites, like I forgot the name of the site off the top of my head, but this is one where you can download free books legally. Obviously, I never do anything. I never download books legally, and so the exact number is always a bit unknown to me. The third question is 1001 books read. Approximately how many books have you read in your lifetime? Do you keep track? Now for this, I would say it has to be about 1000 as a teen, because I read really heavily as a teenager. In my 20s it was probably 300, because frankly when I hit 20 I was going to college, got my first job, I was playing games rather more heavily than I do now, so I was barely reading, to be honest, so it was a lot less. I mean 300 in my 20s is still fairly good, but compared to what I have read, that's not that much. And then since being on BookTube, I've read at least 900, maybe 1,000 by this point. So in total, that is at least 2,200 minimum. It could be considerably more though, because obviously that is a overall guess. I do not track how many books I've read in the past. Since being on BookTube, I know exactly, because I use Goodreads. I do keep my own spreadsheets now, but prior to then I didn't track anything, so this is a rough estimate, reasonably good one, but still a pretty, a little bit up in the air estimate still. The next question is 1001 Arabian Nights. Have you read any stories from the Arabian Nights? Do you have a favourite? If you haven't read it, do you want to? I have not read it, but I would like to, because of course 1001 Arabian Nights, there are links in other media, both movies, books, even music, that refer to things that I'm almost certain are related to the book Arabian Nights, and I would like to read them so I know what these references are. It's like certain other things I've read in the last few years. I'm trying to read certain things to know the wider cultural implications, and the references, so I actually understand them more rather than just being like, that might be related to it, but I don't know because I know that I experience myself or want that experience myself. So I actually then say, that is linked to this, and not be just really vague about it. Frankly. 1001 flavours. Do you have a favourite food or flavour? I don't really have a particular favourite flavour. However, I do have one that I'm not mad on. That is any food that is excessively spicy. I'm not a fan of, because frankly I prefer to actually taste my food and actually be able to tell what I'm eating. Personally, I think when you have food extremely spicy, I mean to a stupid level, then you can't really taste it anymore. All you can taste is the fact that your mouth feels like it's burning and you can't taste it. It's just painful. That's not being spicy, that's just stupidity for me, because what's the point in eating the food if you can't taste it because of the raw fire that you feel like you're tasting? So I'm not keen on excessively spicy food. A certain amount of spice, fine, but excessive, no, thank you. I'll give it a pass. 1001 pages. Have you read a book that is over 1001 pages? Is there one you'd recommend, and is it worth the time? What is the longest book you've read? And for this, I would say the longest book I've read is definitely The Stand by Stephen King. This is over 1,300 pages. Obviously, that is the ebook version of it. I read this fairly early on in my booktube life, a good 7 years ago now, I think it was. I wouldn't overly recommend The Stand though, because I found it overly long-winded, and basically Stephen King, as I found with a lot of his books, he takes a long time to get to the point and kind of misses the point. But it is what it is sometimes, and I'm not keen on ridiculously long books as a rule. I like medium length, longish, but really long, no, because it takes a long time often, and sometimes really long books can often end up missing the point because of the sheer amount in the book. But it varies, and it can be quite interesting to find an interesting and fun, very long book. 1001 buckets. Do you have a non-bookish bucket list? What is one thing on the list? Now, I would say for this, I definitely don't have a bucket list as such. I mean, there are things obviously I want to do and achieve over, the upcoming years. I mean, one of them, I want to travel more, for instance. I mean, a lot of people could probably say that. I also want to meet more of you, and indeed more of the booktubers that I know. I mean, for instance, obviously the Balkan again. I will be going to that and spending a week, or slightly more than a week, hanging out with some lovely booktubers, which I value extremely highly indeed, and that'll be a really fun time. And just get to see a little bit more of the world, and be a bit more adventure focused, I suppose, in that way. But it should be an interesting time. Obviously, what we've the last few years, and a certain coronavirus, we got to be a bit more careful now, but I should be able to achieve it still, just more carefully than before. Next is 1001 numbers. Do you have a lucky number? Is there a story behind it? Now, I don't have a lucky number. There is a number that often comes up for me and I often think about, and that is number 3. With me, specifically when I'm naming things, or the meaning behind names or titles that I give things, weirdly it's often in 3s. I don't know why this happens. If I give a name to something that I'm working on my PA, often I realise that there might be 2 reasons behind the name, and then I think actually there is a third thing that this could link to. And this happens a lot though with when I'm doing things, and I realise that there's actually 3 reasons behind it, or 3 meanings, without realising it when I first do it. So 3 comes up surprisingly often in that strange way. But in that, 3 is definitely not a magic number, I wouldn't say, but it's close to me. Next up is 1001 authors. Do you have a favourite author and or genre? You know what my favourite genre is by now if you've watched my channel for videos for any length of time. That is science fiction. As far as the favourite author goes, I don't have any individual author because it changes all the time. Obviously, Tay Pachi, as you know, is an important author to me because obviously I've learned to read on the Discord book fan club, so Tedpatch will always hold a special place for me. There are many other authors that I've grown to love and like over the years. For instance, a few that come to mind that I made a quick note of was Ray Bradbury, P. Jelly Clark, Lewis McMaster Bujold. So there's some old authors, some more current authors, and up and coming authors. So, you know, I don't try to say all of my favourite authors are all the old authors that have been around for years. I have favourite authors that have only been around, or at least as far as I'm concerned, I've only been aware of for about 4 years or 3 years something, and they're still just as important to me as these very up and coming new authors. And finally, the last question or prompt for this video is 1001 activities. Do you have a favourite outdoor activity? And to this I would say no, not directly like an activity, because to me this indicates almost like a sport, that's giving an activity. For me, I just like seeing friends and spending time with friends, ideally outside, you know, seeing things, going for walks with friends. I mean, when I was on one of the organs in Dublin, we went for a hike, and that was really nice because I got to spend time, you know, have a nice walk through nature and with some lovely people. That was kind of perfect fun and a great day. So things like that I really enjoy, you know, spending time outside with nature, with friends, you know, maybe you know, if you can visit a bookshop or two and an interesting restaurant and have some nice food, yeah, that's definitely a big plus as well. So overall, that's my ideal day as well. Frankly, you know, bookshops, restaurants, and spending time with friends outside. You know, that's pretty good to me. And with that said, that is actually it for this video. So if you want to do this video, then please, you know, you can cast me as having tagged you. I'm not going to actually tag anybody though, because frankly I do not know who's done this video, and I never like tagging people because I always feel as though I don't want people to feel as though that you have to do it just because to be polite because I've tagged you. So, you know, if you feel this is fun, then do it. If not, you know, that's fine. All the questions and obviously such, as well as my social media link, can be found in the description box below. And with that said, that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.